Welcome to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick, a weekly horror movie review podcast. I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor. Subscribe to get new episodes every Wednesday. We dive into trivia, drink a little whiskey, and of course, give our no BS opinions.
Join our Discord server or message us on social media to talk all things scary.
And if you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon.
You can find all these links on our website, twochicksandahorrorflick.com. Thanks for listening.
Now let's get scared.
Welcome back to the podcast. Today we have a very special, brand new episode for you. We're not really good at doing these like super brand new episodes, going seeing things in the theater, but here we go. We went and saw Nope, written, directed, and co-produced by Jordan Peele. So that is what we're talking about today. But before we get into all that, Felicia, what are you drinking?
I am drinking a Moscow Mule. I think I said it right? This is the right cup for that.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Not a mojito.
What are you drinking?
I got Vizzy's on hand, of course. The mimosa flavor, my fave. My summer fave.
Ooh.
So that's what I got going on.
That sounds good.
What about anything? Well, first of all, I want to say, just as a podcast announcement, we're going to be at Midsummer Scream this weekend.
Hell yeah!
Yes, we're going to be there.
Yep.
If you're going to be there, if you're going to happen to be there, please let us know. Send us a message. Let us know on Instagram or whatever, because it'd be great to connect if you're a listener. But yeah, super excited about that. It's in Long Beach. It's going to be hot. It's going to be awesome.
It's on the ocean, so at least...
Yeah, maybe there's a breeze.
Maybe it'll be several degrees cooler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So excited. And if you come up and say hi, we may have some, we may run out, but we have some little things.
Yeah, to pass out.
Yeah, but only if you come up and say hi and say you're a huge fan, ask for a selfie. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, in exchange for a selfie, we'll give you this little thing. We'll give handouts.
Oh, we should come up with a hashtag that's specifically a hashtag for us. So I am imagining people are going to want to take pictures with us and use hashtags like they do at weddings, you know?
Yeah.
You come up with the hashtag. Yeah.
There's just going to be 3 posts from us. Like, hashtag 2 chicks in Long Beach.
Yes. Oh, man. It's going to be fun. Can't wait.
Oh, yes. Very excited.
And it's the first time Tawny and I are meeting each other in person.
Yes.
It's insane.
Big deal. After 2 years of knowing each other strictly online, it's going to be weird. Well, yeah. I'm sure it's going to be fine. But, it's like we already know each other.
I got all nervous now. I'm like, oh, shit. She thinks it's going to be weird. No.
It's just weird the way that...
It's going to be weird.
Yeah. Like, we're taking our online...
We've never seen each other in the flesh. Yeah,
like we just literally see each other elbows up. Like, that's it. And we're going to be like...
That's it.
Here you are actually in reality, in space, right in front of me. Right? That's weird. That's all.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
How tall are you?
Yeah, didn't we talk about this? I'm 5'6". How tall are you?
Okay, I'm 5'8".
Yeah, so we're close.
Like the same. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. When I meet you and you're like 6 feet. I'm like, holy shit. It's not what I imagined.
Or really short. Like 5 foot. Yeah.
Oh, shit. We're so excited. Can't wait.
Yes. And anyway.
Can't wait.
What other news do we have? Is there anything? Or just maybe what you've been watching? I'm so excited to talk about that because I have an insider tip on what Felicia's been watching.
Yes. Yeah, nothing new. This month, or the coming month, the month of August. Yeah, because this will be in the end of July. Month of August, we're going to have Fright Crew on.
Oh,
so
yes.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, super excited to have them on.
Yeah.
Oh, that'll be a blast.
Yeah. Other than that, I think that's it. Just that real big convention. Big news.
Yeah. Oh, and we are going down to 3 episodes a month, right? From here on out. So
yeah, we're going to try to give ourselves a week off to whatever.
Yeah.
To give ourselves a week off.
To not edit.
Yeah. So yeah, to not edit, not record, just spend some fun time. But I hadn't mentioned anything because actually in August, since there's 5 Wednesdays, we're going to have 4 episodes.
Oh, we are. Okay.
Yeah. So it's really just we're going to take a week off every month. So depending, sometimes there'll be 3 episodes, sometimes there'll be 4, just depending. But yeah, don't worry about us if 1 week we're kind of quiet. That's just our week off.
Yeah.
To rest and rejuvenate.
Yes, recover and not edit.
Yeah.
The worst
yes,
part
exactly. That's the main piece.
Podcasting. Yeah. Okay. So then, what have you been watching, listening to? Any updates from you?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me
about
it with no spoilers.
I don't even know how to explain the Stranger Things. I watched it all. We are done. And still today, because let's see, we finished, when did we finish? So that's the main thing I want to talk about. I'm looking at my Slacks to you and trying to find the one where it's like all caps. We loved it. Okay, here we go. It was on July 21st. July 21st, we finished Stranger Things. And I cried and I cheered. And I have to tell you, it's one of those shows where I still feel it today. Like I've been thinking about it all week.
Yeah.
And thinking about what's going to happen next and how much I just loved every fucking one of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Some I loved more than others. My favorite character, my top 2, my very favorite is Steve.
Okay.
My second favorite is Eddie.
Yes.
Is Eddie.
Yeah.
So those are like, I cried, I smiled, I laughed. It's just like, I have cold chills right now. It sounds nerdy and I don't care. There's just something, the way they fucking put the music in just the right music in just the right places, the visuals, everybody's a good actor. I fucking love that show. I literally have cold chills right now.
I have chills.
I cannot wait.
About it. Yes.
Yeah. Whenever I hear music from the show, it's like this full-on sense memory. Like I just had this really amazing experience with this show. We all did. Steve loved it.
Oh, good.
My girls, TT watched it with us.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I know that seems, well, before everyone hates me. Season 4 is where she didn't see, I won't say what happens, but the actual violence that happens to the people. I watched it first, like the first episode, and I thought, okay, I think that's too visually disturbing.
Yeah.
For her to see. So she didn't see that, but she saw bits and pieces. Whenever that would come up, I would tell her to turn away because there's a lot of lead up to whatever happened. So we're able to tell her to turn away. But she loved it. She still talks about it. She plays on Roblox. They have a Stranger Things game on there. The only one is my middle daughter. She didn't watch it with us. She's not into it. But yeah, that's my thing. I wish I could watch it all over again. It was just so fucking magnificent. Yes.
I think this season 4, is my favorite season. I'm sure I've already said that like a bunch of times, but I'm going to say it again.
Yeah.
There were some parts that dragged a little bit for me, but like overall, for sure, this is my favorite season. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. I think the last episode and the first episode of season 4 are like competing with each other for my favorite episode of the series so far. It's just so good. Like it's so good. And it's so good. Oh, I loved it. And the horror, I feel like they really brought in more horror elements in this season than they have before. So if you're listening to this podcast and you haven't seen it for some weird reason, you're going to love it. Okay, go do it. It's real good.
You are right on with that. When you were saying it's your favorite, when I saw what was happening, I was like, oh, this is why. This is horror.
Yeah.
This is some of the stuff that happened is some of the most disturbing things that I've seen. Yes. And we watch a lot of horror movies. So just phenomenally done. I feel like a very nerdy, hardcore fan. Like I want Stranger Things gear.
Oh, I want that shirt.
I want a poster.
Yes. The Hellfire Club shirt. I want one.
Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for really, really encouraging me to watch that show. You've changed my life.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm so glad I pushed you to do it. It's worth it. It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you loved Eddie. He's my favorite character, I think, of the entire series. Also, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with him. He's just great.
He's so great. God, he's so fucking good. You just love him.
Yes.
And I loved Steve because he evolved so much as a character. I was like, oh, you know, I told my daughter, I was like, you should marry him. I know he's just a character, but
yeah,
so good. And you know what? I really liked Billy. I thought that, I liked how the character, I love when just really good writers where you have this character that's just so fucking despicable,
yes.
but there's this human element where you start feeling for them.
Yeah.
And then they start evolving. Just so fucking good. Okay, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah. That's where we'll leave it. We don't want to spoil anything for anybody. Yeah. So good.
It made me really reminiscent. Like, I don't have really great memories about high school. It wasn't like traumatic or anything, but I was going through my own shit. I couldn't wait to get out of high school. But this made me have this like love for and reminiscence, nostalgia about high school and being a kid and, you know, going off on adventures and hanging out with your friends, like all the good stuff about being a teenager and going to high school and stuff, or junior high school and all that. It's just so good. And my daughter's obsessed. Like she's obsessed. Titi is obsessed with the song Up the Hill.
Yeah, running up that hill.
You know, the
Kate Bush.
Yeah. We hear it over and over, and then I just start like feeling all these emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, Tawny, what have you watched?
I'm trying to think. I don't know if I have a lot to tell you. The new season of What We Do in the Shadows is back, so we started watching that. Love that show. It's fucking great. I'll never stop talking about that show. And new season of Solar Opposites is back, so we've started watching that. And I think that's fucking it. I made Jade watch Persuasion, which is like the new Netflix movie. Do not recommend. It's like a period romance based on a Jane Austen novel with Dakota Johnson.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay.
Nah, don't do it.
I saw that and we almost watched it.
I mean,
okay. I'll tell my daughter.
I feel like it wasn't terrible all the way through. Like the beginning part was okay, and then it just tanked at the end. Like for Jade and I both, we were like, "Oh, that was all right," and then we got to the end, and it just like, fucking fell apart. It was really, but people are fucking hating on it because they were like fans of Jane Austen's novels, and it feels sort of contemporary in some places. Like the dialogue is a little modern in a way that like does not make sense. And I saw this very funny comment where somebody was like, Dakota Johnson's face looks like she knows what a cell phone is. So like she doesn't work in this like period movie, which I agree with. I think that's a funny comment to make about her. Anyway, I'm just saying that's like basically the only thing that we watched other than Nope. So that's it for me. Lame. The only other thing that I have to note is that I already told you a little bit, Felicia. We are now paddleboard people. I've ordered a paddleboard and 1,000 fucking accessories for a paddleboard, including a paddleboard cooler, paddleboard drink holders, a life jacket that's totally my aesthetic because that's somehow very important to me, both on the paddleboard and the life jacket. So everything's black, white, and gold. Stupid.
I love it.
But you know what? Whatever.
I'm
here
not
for
stupid.
it.
It's fun.
I told Jade, I was like, I think I might have like a style, like a signature style. And I think it's black and white and red and gold. Okay, that's what I got. So very excited.
Oh, I like that. That's a sick style.
Yeah, it's like basically all I wear. So very excited about that. We were joking because we went with Paige and Trevor to this place here called Quinn's Pond, just like paddle around. And we were joking. We were like, this is our whole personality now. It's paddleboarding.
I love it. I love it. That's so much fun.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's it for me.
You're wearing your Two Chicks shirt. I'm wearing Holler to a Podcast on Elm Street boys.
Yes.
I'm wearing their shirt.
Representing.
Just wanted to holla.
Yes.
Representing.
Okay, should we get into it? Should we talk about Nope? All right, so let's get into it. So again, I said this, but I'm going to say it again. Written, directed, and co-produced by Jordan Peele. Came out this year in 2022. We went and saw it in theaters. Did you happen to see it in IMAX, Felicia?
Ooh, I'm not sure.
I'm guessing not then.
I just booked the tickets and went in there.
I feel like you have to
had the
go
good
out of your
sound
way.
where the sound went around me.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Then no, I saw it just regular.
I mean, was it like a gigantic screen or was it like a normal screen size?
It was a big movie screen, but I'm probably not then.
Yeah.
I don't. When I bought the tickets, it didn't say like a little IMAX thing or anything.
I was just curious. We'll talk more about that in a minute. I did not either. Okay, so for cast, we have Daniel Kaluuya as O.J. Haywood, Keke Palmer as Emerald Haywood, Brandon Perea as Angel Torres, Michael Wincott as Antlers Holst, Stephen Yun as Ricky Jupe Park, and Keith David as Otis Haywood Jr. Sorry, Senior. Senior. Not off to a great start. Okay, here we go. Budget $68 million. They got a fuck ton of what's it called? Tax stuff. They got like $8 million in tax credits for shooting in California. Which really seems like a fucking lot to me. And then the box office, $44 million. I'm guessing that's just as of right now because it just opened this weekend that we are recording.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 83%, but I also wrote down the audience score, which is a 71%. Letterboxd gave it a 4 out of 5, but again, only like 400 people have rated it because it's so new. And 80% of Google users like this movie. So that's where we're at on score.
Okay.
I'm going to take a little break before I get to 2 minutes of time. My mouth sometimes just doesn't say what I'm reading, you know? Maybe it's one of those days, you know? I'm just not going to be able to adequately do it, so bear with me, I guess.
Communicate.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we go. We're going to get into 2 minutes with Tawny, which is really just, I took the Wikipedia plot summary and I deleted like 3 sentences. That's what's happening today. And I need you to just know that if you haven't seen this movie, fucking don't listen to this episode. Don't. Go just watch it. Go watch it in theaters. Mm-hmm. Go watch it in IMAX if you can. And don't look anything up. Don't watch the trailer. Don't look up information. Avoid spoilers at all costs and just go in completely blind. I say that about a lot of movies, but I really feel that way about this one. The end. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm about to spoil the shit out of this. So in 1998, a chimpanzee named Gordy suddenly attacks the actors, crew, and audience on a soundstage for the sitcom Gordy's Home. The show's youngest actor, Ricky Jupe Park, hides and witnesses the brutal ordeal, but Gordy is unusually friendly to Jupe before authorities shoot Gordy down. In the present day, Otis Haywood Sr., owner of the Haywood Hollywood Horse Ranch, trains and handles horses for movies and television. Haywood claims that the unnamed man in the famous The Horse in Motion pictures was his great-great-grandfather. When Otis Sr. is killed by mysterious debris falling from the sky, his children, Otis O.J. Haywood Jr. and Emerald M. Haywood, inherit the ranch. O.J. tries to keep the business afloat and maintains his father's legacy, while M seeks fame and fortune in Hollywood. 6 months later, while filming a commercial with prominent cinematographer Antlers Holst, one of the horses reacts violently when the crew fails to respect it. The Haywoods are fired from the project, and the ranch's financial woes force O.J. to sell horses to Jupe, who has moved nearby and set up a carnival attraction called Jupiter's Claim to exploit his story of surviving the Gordy incident for profit. M encourages OJ to sell the ranch to Jupe, feeling no connection to the business and recalling that their father broke his promise to teach her how to train her own horse. However, the Haywoods notice their electricity is fluctuating and that their horses are either vanishing or violently reacting to an unknown presence. They discover a UFO that has been devouring their horses and spitting out any or inorganic matter, which resulted in Otis's earlier death. The siblings decide to film evidence of the UFO's existence and recruit Fry's electronics employee, Angel Torres, to help set up the surveillance cameras. Angel notices a nearby cloud that never moves, and they deduce that that is the UFO's hiding place. Jupe introduces a new show in Jupiter's Claim, planning to use a horse as bait to lure out the UFO in front of a paying audience. The UFO arrives and devours Jupe, his family, and the audience. OJ deduces that the UFO is not a spaceship, but a predatory creature asserting dominance, and that it does not eat those who do not look at it. Utilizing similar methods to those used to break and train horses, OJ believes they can influence the aliens' behavior to get the footage without being eaten. After a second failed attempt at recording footage of the alien, now dubbed Jean Jacket by the Haywoods, the three decide to hire Holst for assistance. Holst brings analog IMAX cameras to capture the footage. OJ attempts to save a trespassing TMZ reporter, but he is consumed while begging OJ to film the event. Holst is overcome by the sight of the UFO and allows himself to be devoured with his camera, ruining the group's plan and forcing the remaining three to separate. M uses the TMZ reporter's electric motorcycle to travel to Jupiter's Claim. There, M untethers the fair's large helium balloon mascot for Jean Jacket to feed on and uses the analog camera in the Winkin' Well attraction to catch the creature while it is attacking the balloon. The balloon explodes after it's devoured and kills the creature. With Jean Jacket dead and the picture as proof of its existence, M sees OJ on his horse outside the park. The end.
If you're watching our YouTube channel for this video, you'll see me like dazed and looking. I just was remembering it all.
Yes, re-experiencing.
Just picturing. Yeah, I was re-experiencing it.
I, for the first time, am just going to take a guess instead of asking you, or I'm going to take a guess first.
Ooh,
and then I'm going to ask you.
Fancy.
Or you can confirm or deny. But I think I'd be willing to bet money, Felicia, that you fucking loved this movie. Tell me if I'm right. It's got everything Felicia loves.
It does. I would say I really liked this movie. I really liked the movie. I don't know that I fucking loved it. Only because, and I might at the end. It's again my puzzle piece analogy where I feel like there's some puzzle pieces missing that I want to put together, but I feel like they're there. But I did really like this. Maybe even move to love. We'll see. But I really did like this movie. I thought the acting was phenomenal. I love aliens, as everyone knows.
Right.
I thought the alien was beautiful. I did love that it was a different take on aliens.
Yeah.
It was a different take on, I have not seen that before where.
Me either.
Well, everyone knows we're ruining the movie. Where, yeah, the ship was actually not a ship. It's actually a thing. It's a thing that's, a beast or not a beast, but you know what I'm talking about, an animal. And I just thought the visually beautiful, like the stuff with Jordy, right? No, Gordy. Who was it, Gordy or Jordy? The Gordy, just visually like fucking real powerful.
With the
love the
chimp?
actors, yeah. The chimp, that's who I'm trying to talk about. Yeah, the chimp. Yeah, all of that, like the visuals with that.
Okay, yeah.
Very powerful. And I think I just need some pieces put together on some meanings and why. I loved how, the reasoning for the things falling out of the sky because and I would say the scariest part of the whole thing to me was when that woman was in the alien.
Oh, yeah.
She's in it and being like devoured and she's screaming and you could hear the kids screaming and like I was like, oh my God, it was really fucking good. I think it's just because there's some pieces missing for me that I want to put together.
Okay.
How about you?
Did you go see this with?
I have no idea how you feel.
Did you see it with Steve? Okay.
I did. And you know what? He loathed it.
Loathed it.
He said this movie next to The Mist makes The Mist deserve an Academy Award.
Oh my God.
He hated it. So when we went to his friend's birthday party the next day, we told several people, like when we were chit-chatting, oh yeah, we went and saw Nope. They're like, oh, what did you think? And I said, I liked it. And he would say, it's the worst fucking movie ever made.
I cannot believe that. That shocks me.
Okay. So and we'll get into it. I had some theories. I didn't do any research. Like I said, I was going to do. I didn't do anything.
Oh, okay.
So, cool. I was talking him through I was like, but what about this? And what about this? And he was like, okay. And so he did deduce. He's like, maybe it's too artsy for me. Because he goes, I didn't see any of that you're saying. He goes, I just saw like, what the fuck did I just watch?
Okay.
So if there were any underlying like themes or anything, he didn't pick up on any of it.
Okay. Interesting. Good to know. I'm so torn right now because number one, I thought that he would enjoy it because he does seem to enjoy some of this more sci-fi stuff. So I thought that was good for him. The other thing is I fucking love The Mist. So anything that makes The Mist better in anybody else's eyes, like, I guess I'm here for that too. I don't know. But man,
he really, really disliked the female actress.
Really?
I forgot her name.
Keke Palmer.
Emerald. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought she was great. But I challenged him on that. I didn't like her either, but I don't think we were supposed to in the beginning.
Yeah,
You maybe, but she was pretty irritating and she was thwarting her brother and you really like the brother. He's working so hard and she's just kind of like, I mean, she was irritating me, but I think that, or other people would be like, yeah, that's cool. But I think that was the intention, right? Because her brother's like, just stay out here. I'm trying to run this ranch. And she goes in, she's interrupting him when he's it was irritating. And so I said, she irritated you. That's like good, right? Because that's the intention. And he's like, yeah, I guess so. But I couldn't stand her throughout the whole thing. I thought it really turned around. She became a character that was really likable. He loved the main character, thought he was amazing, was like, why the hell was there all that stuff about the monkey? He loved the monkey parts the most, thought the whole movie should be about that. And he was just confused, I think, of everything. Like he was like, it didn't make sense.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know about Steve, but I think I'm going to just go ahead and also make an assumption here. I don't want to get too big for my britches, but I think I have the pieces that will help you move from like to fucking love this movie. Just based on what I know about you. Okay. I'm hoping. I really hope that that's true. But I think that's what's going to happen over this conversation. So, okay. I don't know about Steve, though. He might still hate it. But I'm excited to hear you take this back to him. And then I want to know what the update is after that. For me, my overall, I fucking loved this movie. Loved it.
Nice.
Loved it. I mean, immediately. I was like, everything. All of it. Loved it. Mm-hmm. Not a thing. I mean, I have like maybe a couple of like really tiny little qualms, but they're like really fucking minor nitpicky shit. Overall, I was like, this is fucking amazing. And it was so great to have that experience. And so we went to go see it in theaters too, right? It was Jade and I and Paige and Trevor. All of those people have been on our podcast in different episodes.
That's true.
All of us fucking loved it. Like we all left being like, that was fucking amazing. We didn't get to debrief very long because they had to go back home to relieve their babysitter. So I don't know like their full thoughts. But all of us, Jade and I, all the way home, we were like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Like, we were just like talking about it. And I feel like there were some things that I was missing too a little bit. And so we'll get into some of the trivia. But sometimes I think there's an experience that you have when you watch movies and you're not able to like understand exactly what they're trying to say thematically or whatever, but the experience of watching the movie is enough for you to be like, I don't actually know what any of that was supposed to mean or connect to, but I fucking loved it. And I don't know why. And that's, I think, it for me. Like, I get, and I totally respect that other people might have a different interpretation. Justin, my ex-coworker and friend, who has also been on our podcast on The Lighthouse, he says this all the time about Blue Velvet by David Lynch, I think. That he watched that movie and he was like, I loved it, and it gave me a feeling, and like I had to go and then realize what that was or what that movie was trying to tell me, but I felt it even though I didn't know what I was like feeling, you know? And I think I had this experience with this movie.
Nice. I totally know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
With that feeling.
Sometimes it gets you.
I felt that for Audition. Audition and Antichrist and Melancholia. There's something about it. There's more, like, I don't completely get it, but there's something about it. It's intoxicating.
Yes, yeah.
Something about it.
Oh, intoxicating is a really great word. So maybe that's where we'll start, is immersion, which is a similar word. So Peele said that his main goal was immersion. If nothing else, if he could just get people to feel like they are near a UFO for like even just a minute, like that's what he really was intending with this movie.
Oh.
Also, I think of note here is that it was written and developed, I think, in 2021, right? Which was COVID, like the pandemic, everything was still kind of shut down. And so he explains that, like, you know, we were all kind of really worried for the movie industry as a whole. And I really wanted to create something that was a spectacle. And it was something that, like, people had to go and actually see in theaters. And that's part of the reason I think why they shot it on IMAX cameras specifically. So, again, that's why I'm like, if you want to go see this, you should see it in IMAX. I think we're going to go back and see it again a second time in IMAX. Because I think the experience would be different just with the sound and the like really big screen. You know, it was shot on an IMAX camera, so.
Oh.
But yeah, I definitely feel like he hit that immersive feeling.
Yeah, because that's one thing. Because Steve, when he came out, he's like, and if that's a horror movie, I wasn't scared, not even one time. And I was like, really? I was like, well, I felt scared. Like, it's different scared, like anxiety. I felt full of, like, when the ship was coming or when the woman was in the ship, it felt like I felt scared in that way. But yeah, not scared like in, you know, I'm scared to go to sleep at night and what's lurking in the corners. But like if I was actually there, so that makes a lot of sense.
Totally. I have another piece of trivia for you on this because I watched like a ton of stuff. There is a ton of promotional material for this movie, which I was really glad about. Sometimes when we do movies that are this new, it's really hard to find anything. But so I watched an interview with Peele, and he said that he wanted to make a movie for people who don't want to see horror or really fucked up shit. Like that he said that this was him inviting those people in and saying, like, you have a place in this genre, which I really loved because this movie does feel very, even though I would say it's horror and there are definitely like horror scenes and elements for sure, it does feel kind of like an action adventure horror drama, you know, like it's really genre blending.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, I liked that. And we like that, I think, too, just as people and as a podcast. We like to bring people into the fold, you know, like people who are, we talk about it all the time, who may not be super into horror. They wouldn't say that, but we're like, but don't you? Did you like Silence of the Lambs? Did you like Seven? Like those things are considered horror, you know, on some level. So anyway, I thought that was really
neat. And those
neat.
are both my gateway drugs for people who say they don't like horror.
Yeah.
Did you like Silence of the Lambs? Did you like Seven? This is the gateway drug. Yeah, we're like horror missionaries.
Yes, yeah. I'm out here to enroll you in the horror fandom.
Because I always say 2 chicks in a horror flick when I'm talking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, podcaster, me and my friend, 2 chicks in a horror flick. Oh, so you review horror movies? Oh, I'm not that big into horror. And I'm like, but are you? What are some movies you like? What are some scary movies you like? If you're going to define them as scary, not horror. And they'll always come up with something. I'm like, that's a horror movie.
Yes, yeah. So I liked that.
I love it.
I thought that was really cool. Okay, I've just jumped right in with trivia. So I don't know. Any other points
you
want to?
This is good because this is what I wanted. No, I just, I'll do it along the way.
Okay. I don't know where to go next.
I mean, I could tell you, I thought it was visually beautiful. I thought, God, the big pieces that stand out for me is like, well, everything with the alien. So let's just talk about the alien. I was nervous at first. I always am because I'm a huge Alien fan. And so I'm always nervous about what the alien is going to look like. Because I have seen movies where, and I won't say anything just in case we do them, but where, the whole time I'm like really engrossed on and scared and curious about this alien. And then you see it, at the end or at some point you see the alien and you're like, oh,
yeah.
It's not, or are they just going to do little gray? If they're going to do the gray men, then it better be like really fucking good because that's done so much. And so it switched to something I'd never even thought of before. I never thought of that fucking before. Now I have cold chills.
Yes.
So I really loved how that alien was like, kind of almost like jellyfish or octopus like. So it was something that was familiar, but it's in space. And I liked that connection between deep in our sea, which is almost like another space, where aliens that could live, this other world that we don't know that much about, deep sea. And so it was familiar to the deep sea, to the deep space. I thought it was beautiful. I thought what it was doing, I was just memorized. It was literally like fucking hypnotizing me with like what it was doing and how it blossomed into this shape, this jellyfish octopus type shape, and then back into a ship and what was going on inside of it. Obviously, I really like this movie. I might venture to love soon because as I'm talking about this alien, it was just something I've never experienced with aliens before. And I really appreciate that.
Me too. I was really taken aback and shocked. Also, same. Like I've never thought about, right? Because the reveal is that this thing is not a ship. It's a thing. It's an actual like predator on top of being a creature. It's a predator on top of that. And it was so, it blew my fucking mind, that shot. That it like turns on its side kind of, and it's like moving through the air, and you see that the material is sort of like fabric, almost like you're saying, like it's like rippling. I was like, what is that? What is happening? Before it's actually revealed, like when it expands and becomes its like final form.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yes, I wrote down
when the ship is floating by and it's rippling.
Yeah, you see the surface of it, and because you think it's like metal, right? Just from our culture and everything, you think it's this metal ship, but no, it's like this organic, flowing thing. So interesting. I wrote down like the UFO design, incredible, and I said the same thing. Final alien form that we see is fucking insane, and I loved it. And I thought, just based on that alone, I said this is going to be the most important UFO horror since The Fourth Kind, in my opinion. I think a lot of people don't love that movie, but I think it was really inventive with the genre, and I think especially with like UFOs and aliens and stuff, I thought it really did some interesting stuff. Maybe Arrival, but I don't know if I consider Arrival a horror movie. It was more of like a sci-fi drama. I'd have to go back and watch it again. But I really felt like, man, this is some next level shit that nobody's seen. It felt so fucking unique. I mean, not just that, but the movie as a whole felt so fresh and unique and like, God, I just feel like we need that because we are still in this time of like so many reboots, like everything is just shit that we've already seen.
Yes.
And this just felt so refreshing.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. All of that.
But on the point of like the actual visuals and it being beautiful, something that I thought was really interesting is Peele asked the cinematographer Hoyt van Hoytema, who like shot Tenet, Interstellar. Like he seems to be like the go-to IMAX guy, maybe. I don't know that much about him, but that's what I know that he's shot. He asked that guy what camera he would want to use if he were to actually capture a real UFO, and he said on IMAX. And Peele said, that's what we should shoot this movie on. So they shot the entire thing on IMAX cameras, which I guess, like, I don't know the super details. Like, I skimmed enough to get this. But I think they had to kind of invent new ways to shoot with that camera and that format because it's typically used for, like, really wide, big scenes, like that kind of outside stuff where you see all these, like, rolling hills. But I don't know if it's been used in such tight spaces. Like, they're in a house, you know, they're shooting people talking to each other. And so I think they had to be really inventive with the way that they shot it also, which I thought was really kind of a neat little production tidbit.
Ooh, that makes me want to go see it on IMAX. I think I'd have to go alone. But
yeah.
But it's worth it.
I also have a couple things just on the alien and the ship, basically. So Peele said he explained his decision to include a major focus on the clouds in the film. He said, the beauty of the sky is enthralling. The first movies, in a way. Every now and then you'll see a cloud that sits alone and is too low, and it gives me this vertigo and this sense of presence with a capital P. I can't describe it, but I knew if I could bottle that and put it into a horror movie, it might change the way people look at the sky.
Yes, I love that. It's so true. You always see that. You always see that when you're looking at the sky. And I can say very specifically, after the movie, we drove by our new house. We were checking out the construction of it, and we drove over there. And I was like, look at that cloud. There was like the sky was pretty clear, but there was some dark clouds underneath and dark clouds above. And then the way the sun was shining on this cloud, or it was an alien, there was this perfectly super white cloud with like this light underneath it, but there was dark clouds around it. And I'm like, that's a motherfucking alien. And then we were driving home. I'm like, oh, look at that cloud. And so totally that just like immediately after we were talking about, oh yeah, if there was going to be an alien in the sky, it would be that cloud.
Yes, dude. Yes. It's so inventive. Like, I feel like this is another way that you're like, I love movies that bring this into the everyday, you know? I feel like this happened with The Ring. Like, it made me really scared of just snow on TV. I feel like this is that, but for UFOs, seeing a cloud that doesn't move the way the other clouds are moving is scary. And I've never thought that a UFO could be hiding in a cloud like this. Like, it was just so unique.
So I knew that the UFOs hide in the clouds.
Oh, okay. Felicia knew.
There was something, anybody who watches Ancient Aliens probably has heard the rumor about them in the clouds. I loved the way they did this because you hear stories that, they are probably hiding in clouds. And I think because that probably comes from sometimes the clouds look like alien ships, like the long flat ones. Mm-hmm. But how the cloud didn't move when all the other clouds are moving. Yes. Never, ever thought of that. Never heard of that. When they showed that video and the cloud was just like perfectly still. Oh my gosh, I thought that was so cool because I don't know what I'm going to say there. I just thought that was so cool. I'm going to edit that piece out.
Period.
So cool, period. It was so fucking cool, period.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go back a little bit because I have another piece of trivia about the aliens and stuff, but I have to, I think, go back to the themes a little bit. So,
yes.
Jordan Peele said that the original spark of the idea for this film was spectacle. I think I've already said something to that effect. And our dark obsession with it as people. So he wanted to create a spectacle to have people drive them to the, theater and be able to see this in the on the screen. But he also said that all of the characters represent media in some way. So there's like this spectacle of, watching something, even if it's terrible. Like he brings up the example of a car accident, and everybody slows down to rubberneck and look at the car accident. So there's spectacle in that way, but there's also themes of like Hollywood, right? Like he said, it's a little bit about the spectacle of selling dreams in Hollywood. There's that like line where the cinematographer says, this dream where you finally get to the mountain and look down, it's a dream you never wake up from. And he's speaking from experience because he's in that same boat. So I think that's why, like, going back to Keke Palmer's character, M, I think she is in the beginning supposed to be very focused on fame and making it, like doing her thing. And that's a little bit of the theme of this movie too, is that, once they have this opportunity, she's all about harnessing it to benefit and exploit what's happening, right? Just like Jupe is doing that down the street. And so I think that as a theme is very interesting. And I'll pause there for your thoughts, because this is something that I thought you would really enjoy personally.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that as far as the spectacle and the I'll have to wrap my mind around that. The themes that I was questioning when I came out of it, that I thought, and when we went to sushi, believe me, I spent the whole sushi dinner trying to convince Steve, trying to bring his rating up.
Yeah.
The whole dinner. Something about taming animals.
Right.
Maybe taming people. There's a lot of taming there. We have Gordy, who they're trying to tame him, right, to be an actor. And he's partially tamed, but he goes, wild with the noise. And then he goes back to give that fist bump to that little kid. The taming of the horses, the taming of the alien, how the one guy with the theme park is thinking, because for 6 months he offers a horse to this alien. He has it tamed now and it's going to be like under his control so he can make money off of it. And then there's got to be something. Is there something also around minorities in show business? And there's got to be, because that clip. But I don't know. I don't know. That's all I got. That's all I got. So I didn't even think about what you're saying. It's really fascinating.
I also had that feeling when I left the movie. I did think, yes, is this about people in color in show business and fitting them in a box, basically, of like, but I might have been reaching a little bit. I don't know. But I think we're primed for that.
Because I think too, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I think because, and sorry, there's like a little bit of a delay for us, so bear with us. I think too, because what was the character's name who owned the theme park, who was on that show, the Gordy show?
He goes by
as
Jupe.
A young boy. Jupe, yes. In that show, I felt like he was the token minority, right? You have this white dad, white daughter, white mom, Caucasian family with the Asian son. In that show. So I thought maybe with that, with also how that ranch was founded off, the very first motion picture or picture of motion was a black man on a horse. Yeah. And that's right. That was their great grandfather. And so there's got to be something about that as well.
Totally. Sorry. Keep going if you were going to keep going.
No, that's it. I did just read one thing earlier today that there was from Peele, who said that the film is also a nuanced exploration of how the media, in particular Hollywood, exploits minorities, erasing the contributions of underprivileged, dating all the way back to Edward Moy Bridges' groundbreaking 1878 photography of a black jockey galloping. And I got that from like EW.com article. We'll post it by Clark Collins. But that wasn't, so I love all these things you're sharing because that wasn't, I thought that was the theme.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I thought that this was the big or overarching thing, but that was a piece. But there's also all these other pieces that he's doing. And I just think that that's really, really cool, really brilliant.
Yeah, I definitely think that that is part of the themes of the movie. It's just maybe not the most, it's not the, you know, prominent one that was like focused on necessarily, because I agree.
Yeah.
I also left thinking that same exact thing. And I think we're primed for that from his other movies, right? Because they do have a little bit more of a focus on race as a theme. And he said, I actually heard him in one of these interviews, he said, this movie is not about race, but it is really like sort of impossible to make a movie with lead people of color and not have it be somewhat about race, right? So I think that there is a little bit of that, but that wasn't the main like guiding star, it sounds like from his interviews. Like the main guiding star, North Star is what I'm trying to say, was this theme of spectacle and how we have this obsession with watching it. And like you can kind of see in how all the different characters react differently, right? Like Daniel is like, he almost seems like he doesn't want to have anything to do with it other than the fact that it's interfering with his day-to-day, the way that he lives his life. But M is like, let's capture this thing on camera and exploit it, right? Same thing for Jupe.
Yeah.
Let's exploit this. You see the cinematographer come out once he knows that this thing is like actually legit, and he goes and sacrifices himself to get the shot, right? Because that's
the best shot.
The thing, like now that he's seeing it, he's faced with this thing, he needs to get it, right? This is like all of what his life has led up to. And the TMZ guy, right? Like he sits there and says like, where's my camera? We need to record this. Get the camera. Make sure my camera's on, right? So I think that is the main theme. But I think there's a lot to chew on. And me personally, I didn't think this was too heady. Like, I think there's a lot to explore that's not just that, but it wasn't, like, way over my head. It didn't feel pretentious to me. Like, I'll say that I didn't love Us. I think Us was that way for me. It was a little too pretentious. It was a little too heady for me personally, but this, I feel like, strikes the right fucking balance. It's just enough to, like, hook you, give you something, but it wasn't too over my head, you know?
I love that. You know what? I think I'm going to have to say I fucking love this movie.
Oh, we've already won her over.
I was coming from. Yes. I was approaching it from, I was trying to piece everything together for the minorities in film. And so I was trying to piece everything that I was showing, I was trying to piece everything that I was being shown under that theme. So I felt like I was missing pieces.
Yeah.
Where now that is a piece and a valid piece, but there's this other thing that he was trying to show us. And then the whole, is there anything though about taming of animals, like or taming of anything? I guess I can't just say animals. It could be taming of animals, people, the alien, or is it more just like the exploitation of it, of trying to make money off of everything around us?
Yeah, it seems to me like
people.
Yeah, phenomenon,
animals, aliens,
experiences, whatever.
Phenomenon.
All of the research that I have done has led me just basically to that exploitation piece, but I definitely have not considered anything around taming, and I think that there's a conversation there too. Like I don't know what that exactly is, but I think that is something that could be a really interesting theme explored as well.
Yeah, because there's the taming of animals, taming of the alien, taming of people even.
Yeah.
You know, like let's say, the brother and his sister, right? Because she's more wild, more free-spirited, and he's like, this is the duty. This is what we need to do. This is what, he's kind of, again, said in the beginning. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, I kind of picked up on this a little bit between the siblings. Like, she's almost trained as the show pony. Like, he's kind of there to just, handle the horse, but he's not the face, the personality, but she rolls in, right? And she's like, she has the whole thing, memorized, and she's like really great and talking to everybody. She's super personable. I mean, like, everybody on set seems fucking bored for some fucking weird reason, but she shows up, right? And she's just like a light in this place. She's like, let me tell you the story of how we started, blah, blah, blah. Like, she's like so much personality. But I did think about that. Like, is it almost that she's been trained to like trot out basically to do this show and dance for their business? I don't know. I mean, again, I might be reaching a little bit there, but I felt that for sure.
Yeah, you're right. And for everybody there, just disgustingly pretentious and self-absorbed. Just everybody was oozing. It was obnoxious. And then you have these two people, they're just sweet and like simple, not simple in what we think of when we talk about people, but like salt of the earth, like a simple focus. Yeah, a simple focus. Like, he raises the horses, he trains the horses, he takes care of his farm. He's not all self-absorbed with like, oh, how I'm showing up for these people. I've come here for a job. Here's the horse. Pay attention. And then you have all these people with all these like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's so obnoxious. They're such fucking assholes. Yes. Like, they're like, where's the old guy? He fits in with our, vibe better. Yes. And, it just, ugh.
Yeah, no, I agree totally that it is sort of like you've got this family. They are very salt of the earth. They've been there for generations. They've been doing this, and like they feel so much more grounded and relatable than the rest of these people in Hollywood.
Grounded.
I also think that, there are themes of, I mean, he even said it, but Hollywood and making movies. Like, I feel like this is a movie about making movies also as a theme, what that's like in Hollywood. And the people around you, again, obsessed with spectacle over like substance maybe, right? And you have these people that feel like they're of such substance. And yeah, it just was an interesting.
Yes. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm fucking it up.
This
guys.
is hard.
Like, we for some reason have it. There's a lot of storms. Like right now, I'm looking outside, and it's like the sky is black. It's like not Stranger Things storms, but we're having monsoon season, so that might be interfering with the internet. So I apologize, but yes, I'm so glad you said that. Not simple, like simple life, quiet life, grounded is exactly what I was trying to say. And you have this man, like, why does he have to put on a fucking spectacle? He's just explaining what the rules are for the horse. And they're expecting him to put on a show. Right?
Yeah.
And so she comes out and does a show. But here's the thing. She comes out and does a show, and what they're expecting, and she gets some applause and stuff like that. She didn't say anything about actual safety around the horse.
This bothered me as a person who was a producer. I was also like, there was like no safety conversation about this. And then they're like, okay, right, good way to go. And the first thing they do is like, they fucking disturb this horse. And I was like, this is a disaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole thing is called the safety fucking presentation.
Yes.
And there was nothing, but that's what they wanted. They didn't want the boring safety presentation that the guy was going to give, because he was going to talk about what you should and shouldn't do with the horse. They wanted the spectacle.
Yeah.
Oh, this is all clicking.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
All right. Came back, got a new drink. Don't remember what I was talking about. So...
Okay, no worries. Here's where I want to go next, because this was the next piece of trivia that I had to like set us up on the themes for. So Peele said that he had considered titling the film "Little Green Men" to reference a theme in the film about humanity's monetization of spectacle. So there's definitely something there about the monetization and the tie-in with the aliens, which I really liked. That's a great title too.
Yeah. Yeah, now that you mention it, it is very interesting that the first thing they thought of when it came was to get a shot to make money off of, because there's no good shots versus what's happening. Is this the end of the world? Do we need to be fearful? There was like that one moment where the guy from Fry's was like, but we're doing something really big here. It's not just like catching a shot that no one's have. We could be saving the world.
Yeah.
But that like didn't occur to anybody. What occurred to everybody was getting that shot so that they could become famous and make a bunch of money off of it.
Yeah, before everybody else could, right? It was about beating people to the punch.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Super interesting. I will just say this, because I feel like it's the best place, because we were also talking about like, the themes of this and race. He did say, so I have a note here, the 1972 Western film Buck and the Preacher, starring Sidney Poitier, I hope I'm saying that right, is featured throughout the film. Peele said, "It was the first film that I know of that had black cowboys represented in it. The myth that cowboys were just white guys running around, it's just not true. But we don't know that because of Hollywood and the romanticized view of a very brutalized era. This film, it shares a spirit." I thought that was really neat.
Okay, wonderful. I'm so glad you shared that, because that was one thing I was mentioning to Steve. I said, I wonder if there is something to do with race here as well, because there most definitely, I'm sure, black cowboys and are,
yeah,
sorry,
I was going to say probably
cowboys,
currently, yeah.
But currently, but what we see is Yellowstone, right? 1883 Yellowstone. What's that dude's name? Bruce Wayne?
No.
All the,
John Wayne?
like dirt. Is that his name? John Wayne.
Yeah.
John Wayne. I don't know who. There's a Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne is a Batman.
Bruce.
So.
Okay. John Wayne. Dirty Harry.
Mm-hmm.
Tombstone.
Clint Eastwood. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All of Tombstone's a movie. I'm moving from like actors' names
to movies,
to show names to movie names. So hopefully everyone's following along. All of these are white cowboys. All of them. So I think that's a really cool idea to explore.
Yeah. Super.
You just don't see that represented at all.
Totally. Yeah, the representation is really interesting.
At all.
Yeah. And weirdly enough, actually, just yesterday, I had put this on my list 100 years ago. This movie on Netflix, I think it's a Netflix original. It has Idris Elba in it, and it's called Concrete Cowboy. And just by happenstance, it showed back up on the list. Like, it must have pumped it to the top of my list, because I put it there a long time ago. But it is about a black community, and I think Philly, that ride around on their horses. In modern day. And I was like, that looks super fucking interesting. I want to watch this again. That was before we saw this movie. Now I like really want to watch it. Just because, again, the representation I think is just really cool.
Something that Steve, so I don't have any particular notes because I was in the theater. And so I don't bring out my phone or anything like that because I don't want people hollering at me. But something that Steve brought up where he was like, well, when this alien or this thing came to their ranch and when his father died, he was like, he just kept saying there was like no like purpose for anything because it came and like shot out all this stuff and it killed the dad. Like, why was the dad even in it? And what was like, where did he get all of that stuff? Because he had just gotten there. He hadn't eaten anybody yet. And I'm like, well, maybe the alien had eaten people on the way. He's like, well, that was a lot of people because that was a lot of stuff it shot out. And I was like, well, maybe, but we don't know because, but we didn't hear anything about people missing. I'm like, well, we wouldn't. If we were in LA, I was really fighting for this. I was like, if we were in LA, like these people were in LA and this thing came from, I don't know what direction it came from. Maybe it came from Oregon. We wouldn't have heard. Like in just like a day or whatever, we might not have heard of some people disappearing just yet. Plus, they were way out there. It's not like they were on TV all day either. You know, they were, he was working with the horses, like trying to save the farm. Like maybe they hadn't heard yet. And he's like, well, why did it shoot it out like bullets? Like, and I'm like, well, listen, seriously, guys. He was like, it shot it out like bullets. Like it was almost like a weapon. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think maybe it was just the force of it releasing all of the things. And he's like, yeah, but it like all went into the father's head. Like it was like a projectile, super fast, like a bullet. And I said, well, when you vomit, it's pretty violent, honey. He's like, what? And I'm like, think about it. When you're vomiting, right, it might not be as fast as a bullet, but for our human body, it's pretty violent. Our whole body is engaged with this act of vomiting. This is a giant thing. So with that violence, and he's like, okay, possibly. But I was really like fighting.
I'm with
all
you.
Of these pieces.
I'm with you.
Okay, good.
I didn't ever even think of that, like the force of vomiting, but I'm here for that as an explanation. Totally. The other thing that I want to say is we do hear about it. If you remember in the very beginning of the movie, he's listening to I think it's it's over the radio, and they're talking about some hikers who go missing. And it's those hikers that I think all of that stuff comes from. And as an additional thing that I want to add here, anything dropped from that height is going to act like a projectile. You hear about people dropping, I think, coins, right, off of really tall buildings, and it can kill you. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if that's entirely true, but you do hear that as a, at least a myth, right? That if you drop something off of a really high buildings and it hits you in the head, it will kill you. And so I think, like, none of this, I feel like I had to, reach for. I was like, 100%, I'm on board with this. So take that back to Steve, okay? Tell him.
I'm going to take it back. That's legit. I forgot about the hikers.
Yeah. Because it's so early in the movie that you don't know what's happening, that it's easy to overlook. Because I think it's when he's like,
yes,
just doing work. He's just like moving hay around or something,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. I will bring that back to him. I love it.
And then, though, I do think there's an element of randomness, right? Is like this thing must have picked up these hikers by random, like chance where it is. And then Jupe also sees it pick up a horse. But he continues to feed this thing, this predator, which is why it keeps coming back and why it stays there over the next 6 months. So I feel like the initial thing is sort of random because it is sort of like, well, why here? What happened? But I think that's part of what I like about it is I like stuff that feels random because it's scary to me. Like you can't predict, you can't protect, you can't, do anything about it. You're just fucked. And so this fucking UFO alien just happens to be here and it drops a coin that just happens to land in that guy's head. And it's all happenstance,
I love that you said that because I said to him, so he mentioned Jupe and he was like why? That whole thing, this child star, this murderous monkey or chimp. And then he opens this, big theme park that's next door. Like, what's the purpose of it? And I'm like, okay, let's see. I don't know if I was as good as explaining it, but I'm like, okay, we're here at this sushi restaurant, right? And let's say something happens to us in the story. What's the purpose of all these people? He's like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, that's life.
Yeah,
it's just like people. Like they have a horse farm here, Hollywood Horses, and he opened, I don't know, he was a child actor and he grew up. He wanted to open a theme park. Maybe he really likes cowboys. Like, I don't know. He has a whole story. He has a whole life story of how he ended up there. But that's just like, why is this neighbor next door? Like, there's just life. Everyone's having their lives and they all end up where they end up. Like, why does that have to have a purpose? And actually, it does have a purpose within the movie because he has that and he's trying to make money off this theme park. Now he has this alien that he thinks he can monetize. And it happens to be right next door to his ranch of horses. So I don't know what other purpose he has to have. Now, I guess maybe he was like, why did he have to be a childhood star that had this whole monkey thing happen, which was such a highlight of the movie. Like they kept going back to the chimp, and I agree with that. So there must have been a purpose there within that story and related to this boy. But I think he didn't see the connection, and maybe I don't either now that I'm talking about it, of Jupe and this Western farm and him being a childhood star who witnessed this atrocious thing.
Right. So and I'm sorry if I'm saying this and you already know this, but he was the child star in that show, right? And then he went on to do Kid Sheriff, which was the movie that he was in that, like, I think that's the thing that jettisoned him to fame. And so that's why he builds this Jupiter's Claim, which is, based on the movie that he got super famous for. Even though he was a kid actor in that initial show, this is the thing that, again, ties it all, because over and over again, we're seeing the exploitation of anything, good things, bad things in our life, right? And so Jupe is that personified. And he lives down the road. And I think it actually is a very good, and now I'm just like totally fighting for this movie, but I believe this wholeheartedly.
No, I just want to tell you, I didn't pick that up, his movie that he was famous for. So
yeah,
that fucking would have pieced it together, but go ahead.
Yes. I think it's like it's a good sign of a movie that you get this like tertiary character, maybe tertiary is too far, secondary character that's down the road, right? That we do want to know so much more about. We're like, what is this? I think the movie and Jordan Peele was able to give him depth. And yeah, like I think it would have been cool to know and get more about him and his background and all of the events that led up to that. But for me personally, I didn't need it because I saw how all of this fit into the theme and connected, right? Because like that situation as a childhood star did deal with having an animal come in and like that animal acted unpredictably because something set it off. It was the balloon popping that made it act different. And I think also like this is what I've seen about the shoe, right? The shoe standing up on end.
Oh yeah, the shoe.
I've seen that. I don't know if I've come across any theories yet on like why that is, other than it just was like pure coincidence and it caused him to look somewhere else other than looking Gordy in the eyes, which is what saved him because it gave Gordy enough time to calm down. And then when he approaches him under the table, his eyes are shrouded by that tablecloth. And actually, I have a note about this. It says, after Gordy exits his rampage, he signs to young Ricky, "What happened, family?" So I can't validate that because I don't speak American Sign Language. But if that's true, then Gordy went on just a blind rampage, came out of it, didn't realize what even happened, and then interacted with Ricky, Jupe, young Ricky, under the thing. And something, so there's that. I think that's kind of the outline of that. Sorry, before I move on. Thoughts from you, Felicia?
No, thank you very much for that, Tawny. First, that was excellent. I don't remember. I think during that time, I think that the guy was talking so fast and he was explaining a lot and he was went back into the secret room, was explaining all this stuff. And I didn't understand why the shoe was standing straight up. I thought, oh, is there an alien there? Like the ship is there making that stand up? I was confused by that. And I also did not hear at all, and I bet Steve didn't either, that he was famous from that Western movie. I don't think he did either.
Yeah.
Because I thought, oh, did he do that show and then got out of show business and ended up here doing this ranch? That's what I had thought. So that's very fascinating. I love that, how it directed his attention to that. It just happened that shoe was sitting that way, which is very bizarre, but that saved his life because of the looking in the eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, and the sign language. It makes me want to see it again.
I know, dude. I would definitely want to see it again. And something that Jade mentioned that I don't, again, there might be other theories about the shoe standing on end that are out there and maybe make, change the way that you look at that scene. I, again, kind of like the elements of randomness in this movie, the coincidences that kind of set us up to be where we are. But Jade mentioned that maybe Jupe is also, in addition to the whole exploiting things that have happened in his life, maybe it poises him to be super intrigued with the things that are unexplained because he witnessed this shoe standing on end. So when he then later sees a UFO, it's sort of like, oh, this happens to me, and there's something in this world that is unexplainable that I have to uncover. And I thought that was really interesting. I did not think about that watching the movie, so I don't know if there's anything to that, but I thought that was a good, thing that Jade picked up on there. On that note of the actual little town that was constructed, Jupiter's Claim, so a real-world version of that was added permanently as a part of Universal Studios' Hollywood Studio Tour on July 22nd, just 2 days ago, making it the first studio tour attraction to open the same day that the movie it replicates opens in theaters.
That's awesome! Oh shit, I want to go see it now.
I know, wouldn't it be cool?
That's very cool.
I watched some interviews with Jordan Peele in the little town, and it was really neat. So they're also, as a separate thing, I feel like the marketing of this movie was really fucking well done. Like, that is a whole separate thought in itself. But the original trailer that everybody watched, the teaser, was so random and like you just had no fucking idea what this movie was going to be about. Like you could kind of infer like, yeah, it's probably about UFOs, but that's it. But I didn't realize this until I was doing the research. In addition to some other marketing stuff that they did, they actually put up a Jupiter's Claim website that you can go to and enter a giveaway. At the time that this episode will air, you can go like on Wednesday. So from Wednesday, what is it? The 27th through Friday the 29th. So you have 2 days if you listen to this the day that it airs. You can enter a giveaway. I entered it and so did Jade. They're giving away like merch or something. I don't know. But there's like a whole fake website set up for this little like fake attraction. And it's really neat.
Is it called Jupiter'sClaim.com?
Yes. Yeah. Are you on it?
I'm trying to find it. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, type it in, find it. And I have a note that says, I also looked at this. The site has a dark mode. So the music playing in the background will shift and everything will go like dark on the page. And that's really fun. It's really reminiscent of like old Flash style.
Oh my God.
Yes, she's looking at it.
I love this, like, this imaginary world, real world, bringing us in to this imaginary world in the real world. I love this. Yes. Oh my God. This is so cool. I fucking nerd out. I want every fucking movie to do something like this, please.
I know.
It doesn't even have to be a giveaway. Just bring an element of your movie into the real world. That's so cool.
Yes. Go look at the website. It's super cool. I'm sure the website's going to stay up too for a while.
Oh, this is so cute. It's like legit. Former child actor and reality TV star Ricky Jupe Park here. A kid sheriff at like totally like it's a real.
I know, it's cute.
So cute.
And you can like play little games. You can like play little games to get tokens that you use at the Wink and Well or whatever. And you can get a prize that way. Oh, it's so fun. Very interactive. Really interesting. Yeah.
Okay. We'll post it in our Discord too. But this is so fucking cool. I'm going to do this after the episode.
Yes. But I thought that was really cool. Like, I think that we don't get, I never hear about stuff like this, right? And so I think maybe we just happened upon this at the right time that this movie just came out. But I never end up seeing or hearing about this kind of stuff until way after. But it kind of reminds me of the Blair Witch Project in the way of like, It's definitely not the same level of guerrilla marketing because obviously they had a ton of money backing this that they did a lot of different things with. But it is sort of like, I don't know, feels like not traditional marketing. I think the trailer itself, the first trailer, was super vague in a way that was awesome because you had no fucking idea what was happening. And then this like little website is really cute. And I think the only time that, or I think once they released a trailer that explained more, it was the Super Bowl or something really close. And I read a comment by someone that was like, we haven't been this close to a blockbuster movie with no idea what it's about. And I fucking loved that.
Yes. I read that. I read something months ago as well when I was looking at what are the movies coming up for 2022, looking at what we might want to watch for the podcast. And I saw something about Nope and just saw the picture with the sky and the horse and assumed it was about aliens. Based off the picture, and then was trying so hard to find a trailer and couldn't find anything. And then read an article that I apologize, I don't remember who or what because it was months ago, but read an article where that Peele was keeping the details about the movie under wraps, like real close, wasn't going to really let us know what it was about at all. And then when the trailer came out that I was able to see, yeah, it was real vague. And I thought that's really cool because we're entering into this movie I assumed it was about aliens because of the pictures, but not really knowing what this movie is about, which adds this intrigue, which I think adds to exactly what you were talking about in the beginning, where if you're intrigued, you want to know more, you're going to get people to the movie theater to find out what's going on.
Yeah, the hype, the spectacle.
Yeah.
I saw an article that was like, Jordan Peele is the Quentin Tarantino. I can't remember. It was like he's the new Tarantino or the Tarantino of horror or something like that. That was like basically like his name puts butts in seats. Like if you are going to go see this movie, just because it's a Jordan Peele movie, which I thought is again really good marketing, and he knows how to create the buzz about it. And I do have one more note on this. So after the release of the film's trailer and the Super Bowl commercial, viewers began theorizing that the film may involve an alien invasion, believing that the title to be an acronym for Not of Planet Earth, despite the plot still being kept under wraps at the time. I don't think that was their intent, but that's a neat thought.
Nope. I really like that because I felt like it was a real fucking reaction because you hear there's a lot of, we all do it, right? When we're watching horror movies and there's a noise and someone's like, I got my flashlight, I'm going to go check it out. All of us are like, don't go fucking check it out. Like, don't go to the attic. Don't go to the basement. Don't go check out the noise. We're always like that. But then the people in the horror movies are like, yeah, let me go creep around and let me go find it. And so I got so much enjoyment of the reality, the fucking really like hardcore reality of the fear when you are, I'll bring for an example, OJ is sitting in the car. This is so fucking good. He's sitting in his truck, right? And it's quiet. So he peeks out and he sees the alien up there. And he's like, nope. It's like, I'm not fucking going out there. I'm not dealing with that. Just nope. I love that. It's so satisfying because in horror movies, people are always doing shit that you're like, no, don't fucking do it. So I don't know if that, I'm getting really passionate about it. I don't know if that was the intention of Nope, but there were several times throughout the movie where characters did say, nope, like not gonna fucking do it. And I loved it.
You're spot on. That's exactly the intent. And Jordan Peele has talked about this. If you haven't watched, our listeners, the History of Horror series on AMC or Shudder, Jordan Peele is on, I think, a ton of those episodes, just commentary. And he does talk about like Black audiences. I think especially he's talking about like back when there were like, the early slashers are different in the way that they watch these horror movies because they are like, I would never fucking do that, right? Nope. I'm not doing that. And that is the intent of the title of this movie is how people would react. I think he's saying especially Black people are going to react in this situation from seeing a UFO in the sky. And so I think that is the intent. And it's a nice thought, this, acronym, not of planet Earth, but for sure that is exactly what he was going for.
I am so glad you said that, because actually that made me think of it as well. There is a YouTuber named, he goes by Dang, like Dang, Matt Smith, Dang Matt Smith. And his tagline is "Get that out of here." And he does a lot of different stuff. He's a young guy. Yeah. And he watches scary videos, and he talks about that often, about, as a Black man, I'm not going to go investigate the noise. It's always like what, in horror movies, like the other characters, like the white characters, let's say the Caucasian characters are out, like, let me go check out what that is. And he's like, no, don't do that. Don't fucking do that. So that's exactly to what you're saying. That's what made me think of Nope.
Yes.
What the title of it made me immediately think of him, and him talking about that on his videos. So that's very cool.
It is very satisfying in that way to watch as a movie, right? Because I do feel like all the decisions they made, I didn't have a problem with any of the decisions that they made, honestly. Like, I liked it.
Yes.
I like that there's a reason why they keep having to come back out to the house. They can't just leave, because he is taking care of these animals, he's responsible for them. They have to go back, and they have to be there. And they run when they need to run. Like, it's just the decisions made are plausible. And I think that's really also unique, that there wasn't a moment where I was like, what are you doing?
I do want to say all of the reactions I felt were very satisfying. It was really nice. Like, when the alien came, they hid under the tables. When they everything, even when he felt obligated to run out and help the TMZ guy, but then when the alien came back, he was like, "I'm sorry, dude," and he left. Like, everything was. I just felt very satisfied with all of the reactions. I thought it was really cool when they brought. I was wondering what they brought, those little wind dancer.
Oh,
things.
yeah.
I just call them wind dancers all over. And I'm like, oh, maybe the alien's going to eat them. But no, it was to see when they fell flat. It was so clever. And then, when they went back to the house. So, for example, their house is covered in blood. And you would think, immediately I thought, oh my God, call the authorities, because obviously something's going on here, but they didn't want to, because they wanted to get that unique shot. They wanted to be the ones, like, if this was going to happen at their farm, at their not farm, but their ranch, at their location, then they were going to be the ones to get that shot of the thing before everybody comes out and gets the shot. That's very Hollywood. So it just all made sense.
Yeah, totally. I have just one more note about Keke Palmer when she did that scene where she's given the little background about their business and their family and stuff. I guess they had 14 takes of that, and Jordan Peele described each one as wildly different. And I watched an interview with him where he talked about every single one. It was really hard to pick one. He was like, Keke Palmer, what people don't realize is that she's really fucking good at comedy. And that's actually how they met, is that she was on Key Appeal when she was 17. And they did a couple of brief sketches. And he was like, it's just so good to have that problem, so many different good takes to choose from.
I saw an article, and I don't have it now, but I did see something I came across where, when I pulled up the one thing today, and it was about her and what a brilliant actor she was. It was literally just the title, a brilliant, what you don't know, how brilliant she is.
Yeah.
I didn't click into it though. I didn't have time because I was looking for something else, but yeah, I thought she did great. And again, to my husband, you were irritated by her character in the beginning, which makes sense for my husband, because I can see why he loved OJ's character.
Yeah.
He was responsible. He was taking care of the ranch. He was making business deals. I could totally see my husband loved that character of OJ. And then here comes Keke, kind of fly by the seat of her pants, free spirit. I'm trying to make all this money, doing all these different things. I'm interfering with my brother's business, and I don't take his ranch seriously, and that irritated my husband probably just as much as it irritated OJ.
Yeah,
because he totally resonated with that character of OJ. And I'm like, but that's good acting. That's the thing. The fact that she irritated you and you were angry with her is because she did that part so well.
Oh, totally. I think, okay, so I'm going to go back to a couple things. Number one, I do think the acting in this, superb. Just next level shit.
Superb.
Maybe not from every single person.
I can't think of one thing that was bad. I think every single person.
Oh, okay.
Who do you think not?
I didn't love...
I'm sorry.
I didn't love the cinematographer guy. That's one of my tiny cons. Is I feel like he was just a little bit too over the top for me. A little too eccentric. And I couldn't fucking understand what he was saying.
I don't think so. I think that's... So I really liked him. I think that's legit eccentric, self-absorbed Hollywood right there.
Yeah. I think
totally.
I just think when you put somebody like that next to a bunch of really grounded, really real feeling characters, it makes them stand out even more. And it makes me feel like I'm watching a caricature, versus real life people. And so that's the only thing. There are two things that kind of bothered me and broke my immersion. That was one of them. And the other one was the TMZ guy. I also feel like this was a little heavy-handed and annoying because he said it so many times when he was like, where's my camera? Is my camera rolling? Make sure my camera's on. Are you getting the shot? Get the shot of me. Where's my camera? Like it just went on and on and on. And so this is the one moment that I felt like the theme was a little heavy-handed. And I just wish they would have backed off of that just a little bit, because everything else I think for me was pitch perfect, tonally great, like just enough to have you understand what was happening, but not like be super in your face. These two moments broke my immersion. But aside from that, everybody else in the movie felt so real and grounded and like their own unique character that I do feel like he achieved for me that complete immersion. Because I couldn't believe, and I think for me, Daniel takes like the ultimate cake. Like he just did a fantastic job, especially seeing him in other movies and seeing the range now of him being this like rancher, super serious. I just, from the first moment that you see him, one of the first shots of him is like, picking up hay and putting it in the like, whatever it is, like an UTV thing. And you can see in his like physical body language that he is fucking tired. And that pulls through the movie. Yeah. He's able to communicate so much with just his body language and his face and his emotions and his emoting and his eyes. Not even through spoken language. Like, I just was like, this guy is fucking incredible. Everybody was good, but he really like was the star of the show, in my opinion. But I fucking loved everybody else. Like, Kiki did such a great job. The guy who played Angel was incredible. Their father, he was only there for a couple minutes, but like he did a really great job. I just, so impressed. Oh, and fucking, Jupe. I mean, he was also only in there for a couple minutes, but I loved it. I loved the brother and sister dynamic too. Like just the way that they were with each other and how different they were. Like I loved that dynamic of her chasing the fame and being so, like you said, like free-spirited. Like she's not connected to this place. She doesn't take it seriously, but he does. He's like, I have mouths to feed. But they, together as a team, like work really well together because of that. I don't know. I just was like enamored with them.
Yeah, totally agree with all of that. I think and maybe this is me selling you on the cinematographer, but I may not be able to. I thought it was really nice because you have the range of Hollywood there. You have Daniel or OJ. You have OJ, who's the rancher. He's not interested necessarily in Hollywood. He doesn't want to become famous. It's a means to an end, right? They have horses that they train to be in movies and they make money on that. But himself, he is not trying to become famous or a celebrity in any way. He just wants to make money having his animals in movies. Then you have a sister who's trying to break into it any way she can. You want me to be the caterer? Want me to be an extra? Whatever you want. She's trying to break in to that world. Then you have Jupe, who was a child star. He was in that world. And now, now he's like on the end of riding on the coattails of his moment where he was in fame and now no longer so. He has this ranch where he's trying to like, I'm the kid that was in the Gordy movie or in the other movie. So he's trying to kind of keep his fame alive. Then you have a cinematographer who is way deep into Hollywood.
Okay, you're right. You're selling me on this.
Deep and eccentric of it, right? He's getting jobs. He's fucking in it completely. So you have the whole range of Hollywood here. So that's why I totally bought into all of that. To the TMZ guy, I think I would agree on that. The thing I kept thinking about the TMZ guy, and I'm sorry, this might sound stupid, was like, oh, do they wear those shiny helmets all the time? Like to hide their identity? I was so focused on that fucking helmet and the one little eye hole and how he was hiding his identity. And like, is that how she knew it was TMZ? I'm probably sound stupid right now, but it did kind of take me. I don't think I was focused on the right things in that, but it didn't ruin it for me. But I definitely didn't want OJ to go save him. I was like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, leave him.
Do not go out there. Fuck that guy. Which Emerald was saying. Yeah. She was like, fuck him. Don't go after him. And he went out. He's a good guy and it's his ranch. And so he went out, to rescue him. But I'm super stoked that when the alien came, he's like, it's so realistic. Come on. We're not all fucking Liam Neeson and Taken. We're not going to all go and risk our lives for every motherfucking person. Yes. And so he went out. He tried to help him. He's like, okay, sorry, dude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Can't do anything. Sorry.
But do they wear those helmets?
I don't know.
So people don't know who they are?
I feel like that's a good question. And I also was kind of distracted by that, but I don't think I realized that consciously until you said that. But I agree that I kind of was like, what is going on here? And I also wondered, how does she know that it is TMZ? Like TMZ is such a very specific thing to hone in on. I don't know. I do feel like we were missing something there. There was maybe something that got left on the cutting room floor that maybe pieced that together a little better for us that we didn't get. So I'm with you. That part felt sort of, I almost feel like we didn't need it, honestly. Like, we get it. The themes, I feel like, are pretty apparent. Again, that moment was so heavy-handed.
Oh, she needed the motorcycle. She needed the motorcycle to get to the park. Yeah, because I agree with the TMZ. Why couldn't it just be any of the multitudes of reporters out there, right? There's like so many. How did she know specifically it was TMZ? Then, so I started to get really wrapped up in the helmet because it was unique and he was hiding his identity. So I was like, oh, maybe that's a TMZ thing. And maybe it is.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know.
I will say also, just as part of the immersion for me, I loved that these movies that happened, or the shows that Jupe was in, felt like things that would have happened. Like they weren't so off the wall. Like this like Western or like this sitcom as a kid that he was in, it feels like something that would have existed in our universe. So again, it keeps this immersion, like, because you're wondering, was that a thing? And he even says jokingly to one of the interviewers that I watched, he was like, yeah, don't you remember that movie from the 90s, Kid Sheriff? But he's like fucking with him, but it's like, it feels like a thing that could have existed.
100%. When I was watching that show, when they were filming the show, right before the chimp got upset, it was totally a number of 100 shows I watched.
Yeah.
When I was young. And then adding that chimp in to it, or this animal element that is a part of the family. Oh my God. I don't remember seeing a show like that. Oh, probably actually I do. It's called, if anyone remembers the show Alf.
I was gonna say
except Alf was an alien.
Yeah,
it was an actual animal. But so we did it. See, we absolutely did this back then. This totally makes sense.
Yeah,
it's very believable.
Yeah, super realistic. I think that's it.
That's it.
I mean, I have like 1,000 more fucking notes about like what I thought. But I don't know that we need to get into them. That was it for trivia for me.
Oh, shit. Tawny, well, what do you think about the movie? You didn't share. We've been recording for 2 hours.
I know,
Tawny
it's like...
didn't share anything as she thought about the movie.
No, I did. I mean, but I do have like, you know, just little things here and there. I mean, I will say that my experience of the movie... I typically go into a movie and in the first 30 minutes, I think like, I fucking love this movie. And then it just dives after that, like especially at the end. This movie was such a different experience because that first scene hooked me. I loved it with the father. And I was like, I don't know what is going on, but I love this. I'm hooked. It's gory. I love it. And then the next, you know, hour is kind of slow. Like it's kind of introducing you and getting you up to speed on what's happening. And I didn't hate that by any means. But I was like an hour into this movie. I'm like halfway through the movie. The first time I think to myself, I fucking love this movie. And it just got better and better and better from there on out. And I think that's so hard to do. So the pacing for me was fucking amazing. Like I just am really in awe of how well paced the movie was. Because I'm used to shit just going fucking downhill halfway through all the way to the end. And other things that I just absolutely loved. I loved Angel as a character. He was such like an oddball character that I didn't expect to like or be there for a long time. He was really great.
Loved him too.
Yeah, I guess that was like...
He was so realistic.
Totally.
I think I resonated with him the most because I would have been that way. I would have been bought into the alien, you know, idea and... just like all in it. I'm monitoring your home even though you didn't want me to. Like I just loved this character.
He calls her. He's like, "There's a praying mantis on camera too."
Yes, I really loved this character. That would have been me.
Yeah, I guess that was his idea. It like he came in and read for the part. He auditioned. He was like the only of the main cast to audition. Everybody else. Peele had those people in mind for it. And so he had to audition and he had his own take on the character, which is the whole bit about him just getting out of a relationship and like being mad and upset about that. And he was like, he took it in like a totally different way. And I just loved it. He was like, I laughed so hard. This is what Peele is saying about his audition and talking to him about this. He was like, it was just so funny. He was like, sometimes something just strikes your funny bone and you can't really like explain why, but I just loved it. And so that guy was in. He was like, I did a very professional thing in the moment where I was like, yeah, we'll see. We'll have to give you a call later. But I was like, this guy's got the job.
Yes, I love that. Takes us back to Starry Eyes.
Yeah.
Remember her audition and she was so mad she ripped out her hair and I was like, I'm pretty sure they don't tell you got the movie in the audition. See, Peele just confirmed it for me. That doesn't happen. They give you the I'll call you back.
Yes.
That's awesome. I love that.
I also want to say that the scene of them yelling at each other across the field fucking killed me. It was one of my favorite scenes. So funny. I was dying. And she's like, they're yelling at each other. She's like, they go to yell at each other at the same time about like, where did you get that horse? I don't know why, but that really got my ass. And then I just want to say,
I think the most memorable.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Just based off what you said. The most memorable moment for me, I do love when that beast came right up to like OJ when he was at Jupe's farm and like several times the hole like came right up and you could just feel it. Now I want to watch an IMAX. I think I'll sneak away in my life and do that. But the most memorable, it just really was really terrifying for me was when that woman was in the alien. And I think because I have this fear and I've had nightmares before where, if you are just you, right? Say like me and Steve or you and Jade, and even though we love our partner, they're responsible for themselves as well, right? So if something is happening, I have to worry about myself and saving myself, as my partner is going to worry about what he needs to do to save himself, and we're going to do what we need to do. But when you have children, you have to fucking worry about them, and they are literally looking at you going, you're going to save me. You're going to keep me safe. So when there was all those families and all those people and the aliens sucked them up, and there was that woman and she's being like, consumed in this tight spot, and you can hear the children screaming and the people screaming, and there's nothing you can do, this helplessness, you don't know what's going on. That fucking terrified me.
Yeah.
That is most definitely the most impactful moment for me in that movie.
That makes sense. And I think it was a very scary scene. That was probably one of the scariest scenes in the whole movie.
Yeah, totally.
Other just scary scenes that I loved. I obviously loved the blood raining down on the house. I thought that was fucking great. And again, nothing I've ever thought about before.
Yes.
But it makes total sense that it's consuming these people and just dumping all the inorganic material.
So Steve mentioned that, and he said, why in the beginning, when it shot out all of the coins and the keys, did it not rain blood?
That I don't know.
I also
maybe
loved
it was
that.
the quantity,
and I also loved how of people.
Maybe the first time it was just a couple people, and now, but that last time when it got that whole arena, that seemed like it was its biggest meal. That was the most people or things it had consumed, is the impression I got.
Yeah, and did the coins and the keys falling out happen after it let out the blood or before? It happened after, didn't it?
I can't remember now.
I feel like it did. Okay. The reason is because I'm saying maybe when it ate the hikers, it did that blood thing, just not on the house.
Yeah, before.
And then it shot out the keys. Yeah. I love that as well. I love the visual of it was pouring rain, and when the beast was above the truck, there was no rain.
Yeah.
Right? It was falling around it. God, the visuals were incredible in this movie.
Totally agree. The other scene that I really fucking loved, and this actually didn't have anything to do with the actual aliens, but it's the scene of him in the stables, and it's he's walking around, and you see the little people dressed up as aliens, it's the kids from Jupe's farm. I loved this. This was actually, I think, in my opinion, the scariest scene, until you realize what's happening, because it's that slow build scare that I fucking love, where they're you don't see that you see it until it moves. Oh, and then it peeks around the corner, one of them, super slow. Oh, I loved all of this. And then it was such a fake out, because it was it wasn't even actual aliens. It was just these kids fucking with him, but I loved it still.
So good. I even said that to Steve. Oh my God. I was like, you have to admit that scene where he's looking down to where the light is and you don't see anything until it moves is fucking amazing. That's the best. And he's like, yeah, you're right. That is really good. That is the best.
Oh, good. At least he liked that one moment.
Yes. Oh my God. I love that shit. Where I'm looking, because me knowing what I'm watching, a horror movie, I'm looking at the dark spaces. I'm looking everywhere, and then it fucking moves, and I didn't see it. Yes, thank you for that. Thank you for that moment.
I was so on the edge of my seat, and I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but there were 3 moments where I held my breath. I was so invested in this movie. I was reacting. I was holding my breath. My mouth was open. There was just, again, the immersion. I was so in it. It's great.
Oh, you paused and then it was silent. You were so amped. The immersion, and it was quiet.
I don't know. The thing.
And you're like, it was great.
Sometimes I don't know how to wrap it up, and I'm just am I going to repeat myself one more time? No, I'm just going to say, One word. It was great.
And you're going to say it was great. You went,
great.
So I was like, oh shit.
This is really a difficult episode to we're really missing each other here.
This is great.
That's all right. God, I just loved it. I'll stop talking about it.
Yeah.
That'll be the end of my comments.
Great. Great. Maybe we should have t-shirts that have an S apostrophe.
Great.
Or SCREAT.
Oh, yeah. Great. All right, Felicia, we have come to the moment now of rating this movie. Do you know what you're going to rate it?
Yes, I do.
Are you going first?
Yes. Okay. So I can say you have filled those gaps for me where I can say I fucking loved this movie.
Okay.
So thank you for that. Thank you. Usually when we talk, not just you, but in general, even when I am the one doing the research and I'm trying to fill gaps, some gaps are filled and it lifts my score a little. But I have to say, this lifted my score a lot. I'm going to give this movie a 4.85.
Oh, yes. Okay.
I really fucking loved this movie. I think there's some 4.9s and 5s that, those are movies that when I come out of it, I just like can't even fucking handle myself. I loved it so much. So I think this falls nicely and I liked it a lot more than some of my lower movies, but maybe not as much as some of my like top of mind, The Witch. But I absolutely loved this movie. Definitely a go see, 4.85.
Okay, awesome. Where did you think you were going to come in?
I thought it was going to come in at a 4.
Okay. That's not bad.
How about you?
I'm going to give this movie a straight fucking 5. It's the first 5 of 2022.
Whoa!
All the way.
Holy shit, that's amazing! Clapping for you. I've given a lot of 5s this 2022.
Yeah, I was looking.
Yeah, I've given Martyrs, Silence of the Lambs, 7. Like, I'm like dishing out the 5s. So congratulations. That's fucking awesome.
I will say I am also happy for myself because I feel like I'm so disappointed all the time by new movies. Like nothing really hits it right. And this movie just fucking did it for me and I just loved it. It was like, there was so little for me personally to dislike. You know, I had those couple of tiny qualms, but like, I really am reaching. That's nitpicky shit. I love this movie. Everything about it just was like, oh, and the immersion. I want to go see it again. We're going to go pay money again for a second time. That means I fucking loved it. So that's a 5 out of 5. Loved it.
That was awesome. Tawny, thank you so much for that. All of the research that you did and really bringing forth those themes, because that's what I was hoping for. So I knew there was pieces that I wanted to align. And I think just the fact that he meant it to be a spectacle and drawing the people into the theaters and the Hollywood and all of that just really made a lot of sense. And that it was just, what a great ride that was.
Yeah. I have like some more interesting trivia about Edward Muybridge, but I know we're running long in this episode, so like maybe we'll talk about it and then we can cut it out and put it on our Patreon and it's an exclusive video or something. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, for those who haven't seen the movie and aren't sure who Edward is, who is Edward Muybridge?
He is the, like, what they talk about in the movie, they say their great-great-grandfather is the jockey in that moving picture of the horse running. Edward Muybridge is the one who shot that, basically, with photographs. So he is considered, like, the godfather of motion pictures.
So definitely become a Patreon member and check that out. And whoever is a Patreon member will get access to it because it is super interesting. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. Thank you so much. That was a fun conversation. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Please join us week after next. So I believe it is the 10th of August for our next episode. Yeah, because we are going to go party it up at the Midsummer Scream in Long Beach. And so our next episode will be out the 10th, and we are going to be watching and reviewing The Fourth Kind. this was Tawny's pick. And I'm so fucking happy because it's about aliens and I'm so excited that she's on this boat with me. So we're going to be doing that. Also, if you would like to follow us, we would love it too. You can find us on Instagram at 2chicksandahorrorflick, or you could go to 2chicksandahorrorflick.com. Both of those places will lead you wherever you want to go. Your favorite social media platform, we're on there. Just go to those places and find the link. If you would like to join the conversation and chat with us, you can join our free horror Discord community. Super fun there. You could buy merch like Tawny's wearing, and I have a bunch of merch too. Lots of fun stuff and whatever. What else, Tawny?
You can support the show by going to our Patreon or giving us a like, review, and subscribe on whatever podcatcher you're listening to us on. And we will see you the week after next for the fourth kind. We hope you have such a good night. No nightmares.